So except you want to do that kind of thing, but for us to say we want to go into lesbianism, or
do you think it will be an issue? That's what I'm just asking. Do you think it will be an issue?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
You don't think it will come up at all?
No, they won't even come up with this kind of thing. It's enough that they are doing it in their own country. It's okay with them. But exporting it, when has it become a commodity? I don't see them exporting this to Nigeria. I don't believe this is an issue that they will raise.
It is believed that there are about 30 people in the president's entourage. Can you just look at the kind of people that are likely, because we don't know the exact, the people that are in that list, but there are 30. What are the kind of people do you think the president will be going with? Seeing that there are no ministers yet, so would they be going with the permanent secretaries, or would they be going with some governors? And what are the other issues besides businessmen as well?
Well, I haven't been able to see the list, but if I have to go by the appointments that he made concerning the chiefs, the service chiefs, I want to believe that he would have identified people. He would have identified those who have relevant or cognate experience, in this area, before he would have selected them. I'm not too sure if in his first trip he wants to go on a jamboree. You understand? It is only if we have seen the list we will have been able to analyze each and every one of them. But for now, until the list comes out, but for now, I believe that he should go with people who have one thing or the other, who probably have experience in Nigeria-US relations. People who have done a lot of work, people who are either at the level of either professionally or academically, people who can actually give focus, give a compass, you understand, in preparing the roadmap for new dynamic foreign policy for the nation. You understand? That's just the only thing I can say for that. Because I don't see him going with party men. Going with party men.
Some technocrats.
Yes, he has to go with technocrats.
If we're to go with
he can even go with some politicians.
If we're seeing the list, if we're to go with the list that we're saying already, we understand that some governors will be going with him, governors of Imo, Nasarawa, or we understand that some permanent secretaries.
Governors of Imo?
Yes.
The governor of Imo?
Yeah.
Nasarawa?
Oyo. But I don't have the comprehensive list.
But
I also understand that the governor of the central bank will be going with him as well. And
that's for fiscal policy.
Yeah, for some permanent secretaries in the ministries of foreign affairs and some other selected parastatals will be going with him as well. So,
let me just take the three governors and then.
But there's also the governor of Borno as well.
Governor of Borno.
The governor of Borno went with him to the G7 meeting. He's also going to this in this entourage as well.
Okay. Now let me the Nasarawa governor, I don't know his background. But if we are talking of Okorocha, yes, definitely he's a businessman. He's a businessman, thorough businessman. And you know that we are talking about Agua here, which is pure business. Pure business. So I believe that he should be relevant in that area. If you are talking about Ajumobi was in the oil industry. So I'm sure that he has one thing or the other to also contribute in this regard. Nasarawa governor, well, I don't know his background. But for Borno, yes, I may not even be able to say, okay, this is what he is. But from the fact that he went with him on G7, it's possible that while on the visit or during that visit, he probably took some notes while Buhari, was there and everything. So he has an idea or insight as to what the discussion would be. He must have taken some notes and everything. So as a guide, he has to go. You understand? By and large, I believe that, yes, that's okay. But for...
So some people say he's the governor at the heart of insurgency. I mean, his state has been most affected by the insurgency.
Sure, that's another possibility. That's another possibility. The governor of Edo, definitely that one is also relevant because he's a trade unionist. And when you are talking about trade, when you are talking about... But
there's been complaints as to how this is not going around. I mean, we're talking about Nigeria going on a visit to the United States. Some people are saying that this is too partisan. Do you think that it should have been, better spread? In terms of the number of people...
I just want to believe that it's coincidental. It's just mere coincidence. It's mere coincidence. I've analyzed 4 of them now. You can't say Oshiomhole is not relevant. Oshiomhole is relevant. He's very good in trade union.
Are there no governors in the opposition who could be relevant as well?
I know, but since we have not seen the the comprehensive list, it's possible that some of them will be there, but even these ones, these APC governors that we have identified, apart from that Nasarawa, and it's not that it's just because I don't have an idea of who he is, you know. But those other ones, I've told you, these are relevant people. These are people
the
who
one they suggest that he's selling party as opposed to selling the institutions
the
of state.
Yes, to some extent. If, for instance, you have 10 governors and you are going with about 9 APC, then we are talking about government. I mean, we are talking about party. So we are not talking about institutional framework again. We are not talking about national institutional framework. We are talking about party framework. This is what our party, and I don't know for how long this will sustain us as a nation.
There will also be permanent secretaries of foreign affairs, defense, trade and investment.
No, those ones are technocrats. They are there.
That's normal.
Yes, it's normal because they are the people that will take notes. They are the people that will have the policy framework on ground. By the time the minister is coming, it's giving political dimension to it. So they are looking at it as bureaucrats first, see how practicable some of these measures are, and then possibly give him advice, even while there, that, sir, this one is not, we should not talk about this one, we should not talk about this one. So when the ministers now come, they will possibly come and put the political dimension.
One other perspective, do you think that it will be necessary to bring up the debate about AFRICOM having a base in Nigeria, given the fact that we're going to talk about security as well?
No, I don't support AFRICOM. I don't support AFRICOM.
Why?
Because it gives room for espionage activities. Simple, for that simple reason. It gives room for espionage activities. There is no way they will have their they will have AFRICOM here, and then they will not be able to gather intelligence information on our armory, on our nation, on everything. In fact, that's their profession. That's what they do. You understand? They must have data. I saw you were reading something today, said Buhari's visit. Is the U.S. our friend or foe? This is a rhetoric question. One, there is no permanent friends. You can't talk about permanence. There are no permanent friends in international relations or permanent foes. So that is why, in anticipation of what can happen tomorrow, the U.S. gathers information on even its friends. Even while you are eating, they are gathering information on you. No matter how close you are, they are gathering information because they know that tomorrow you can become their foe. So they will have to use the information at their disposal against you. So if you now give them,
well, isn't that what all countries do? Isn't that what all countries do?
Most countries don't do.
Recall that when the espionage thing came out about, you know, the tapping phone calls and how Germany and France took offense that, you know, the United States had been monitoring them. One of the defenses that this is what all countries do.
Yes, advanced countries, because some developing nations or African states, they go on peacekeeping missions. Some of these nations, some of these advanced nations go on peacekeeping missions. They even use peacekeeping missions to gather information, to collect, to do espionage activities. But when we go, what do? We go on Jamboree. When we are coming, we buy.
Whose fault is that?
It's our own fault.
So at the end of the day, this trip should be beneficial to Nigeria.
Sure, definitely.
All right, thank you very much indeed for coming on, and Dr. Dapo Thomas, an international relations expert, and looking ahead of the president's visit to the U.S. We'll be back after the break. Join us again.